Okay, so today we're going to be talking about solving quadratic equations by factoring. So what you're going to want to do first is make note of the number in front of the x squared term. So basically this number. Since there's nothing there, we can say that it's 1. But if there was something else there, you note that. And then the constant, which is the term that's individual and it's not right next to any variable. And you're going to write down the different factors. So for example, for 1 times 1 would make 1. And then also, -1 times -1 would also make 1. So that's also another point to think about. Next, you're going to want to do the same thing for the number 9. And so 3 times 3 equals 9, and the same thing goes for 3, which is -3 and -3 equal 9. And then 1 and 9, obviously, and then -1 and -9. So like those are the different like combinations of numbers that you can do to multiply to get those numbers. So now we're going to do a cross method. Basically what that means is you're going to want to draw a cross, and on the left side of the cross, you're going to basically put down two numbers that are factors of your first term. So for example, in this case, it's 1 and 1. You can always like try both, but normally for the left-hand side, so like for this side, we don't use the negative numbers, we only use the positive ones. So in this case, it'd be 1 and 1, so we'll put 1 here and 1 here. And then on the right-hand side, you're going to want to do two numbers that also equal 9. Equal 9. So in this case, we can just try any of them. We'll just do 3 times 3. So you'll put 3 here and 3 here. Doesn't matter which order you do, you just honestly have to keep on trying until you get the correct like combination. So what you're going to want to do now is cross multiply. So you're going to multiply these two, and then you're going to multiply these two. Okay, so basically how it goes is you're going to do 3 times 1, so you're cross multiplying, and then 3 times 1. And then they both equal 3, and then you're going to add that number, those two numbers, and you get 6. So if you add those two numbers, you get 6. Now, this number that you get once you add has to match this number, so the number in front of the x term. In this case, that number is -6, and we have +6, so that means our match didn't work, and we're going to try another one. Okay, so since that cross match didn't work, we're going to do the same thing again. So draw the cross again, and on the left side, you're going to want to do the two numbers on the left. In this case, the only two sets of factors we have are 1 and 1 and -1 and -1. Normally on the left side, we don't use -1, and you'll see why as I go further. So we're just going to stick to the 1 and 1 on the left side. And on the right side, so we can't use 3 times 3, so that's out. We could try 1 times 9, but we might as well make sure -3 and -3 don't work before we go there. So let's use -3 and -3. So we're going to put -3 and -3. Again, doesn't matter the order. If it doesn't work, you're just going to have to do it again. And we're going to cross multiply. So these two, so -3 times 1, and then these two, so and again, -3 times 1. And you're going to get -3 here, and you're going to get -3 here. Now, if you add -3 and -3, you get -6. And as you can see, that matches the number we had there. So the coefficient of the x term, so like the number in front of the x is -6, and we got -6 here. So now what you're going to want to do is separate the cross that we drew. So how you're going to write this as a factor is take the top half and the bottom half. So to make that more clear, okay. So let's write that as a factor. So basically what we're doing right now is writing x squared minus 6x plus 9 as factored. So we're just going to factor it. So this is what we're trying to solve. First step is factoring. So using the cross method, we're going to separate it into a top half and a bottom half. And then on our top half, we're going to put the number on the left-hand side in front of the x, and then put the number on the right after that. So that goes for this part. And then multiplied with that, we're going to do this half, which would be 1x minus 3. So basically, this just equals x minus 3 times x minus 3, and then you're going to add the equal to 0. So basically, all you've done is factored the top, like this equation to this. So it makes it easier for you to solve. Now, to solve this, what you're going to want to do is set each individual factor equal to 0. In this case, we're going to set this number, or this set, inside the parentheses, and this set equal to 0 individually. So how that's going to work is you're going to do x minus 3 is equal to 0. And the same thing on the other side, which is x minus 3 equals 0. You're going to simplify this, add 3 to both sides, and you're going to get x equals 3, and the same thing over here. So what you figure out is that x is equal to 3. That's your solution. Now x is equal to 3, we get the same solution for both sides. So it's easy to say that you just write the solution for the entire equation as x equals 3. So that is how we go from this first equation, which is our question that we're trying to solve, and then we're going to write down the factors like this, and then we're going to do the cross method, of course, and you're going to try different combinations. Always make sure that the first term, so this first term, is always positive. Don't try to use the negative one, but the one on the right hand side, so this can be negative if you want. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. You're just going to have to try different combinations until you get your two sets that will add to get that number that's matching the number in the middle up there. And then basically what you're going to want to do is write this cross as a factored form. So it would be x minus 3 times x minus 3, and then set each of those factors equal to 0, and you would just get your solution, which is x equals 3. So let's try another example. Okay, so this is the next question that we're going to be doing, 2x squared plus 9x minus 5. So in this case, we're going to want to find the factors of the term, or the number in front of x squared. For a positive 2, we do 2 times 1, and negative 2 times negative 1. And then we have to find the factors for negative 5, so we'll do, obviously, negative 5 and 1. And then negative 1 and 5. So you're basically like flipping it around. And yeah, so in this case, make note of how it's negative 5. So both your terms aren't negative or both are positive. One is positive and one is negative, but it's pretty self-explanatory. So now we're going to want to do the cross method. So let's draw the cross. And on the left-hand side, we'll do the two factors for the term on the left, or like in front of the x squared. We'll do 2 times 1 this time, so 2 and 1. And then for the right, we'll just use this one for now. So let's do this one, and we'll do negative 5 and 1. We'll just try it out. If it doesn't work, we can always do another cross. So let's cross 2 times 1. So 2 times 1 is equal to 2. And then negative 5 times 1. So negative 5 times 1 is equal to negative 5. You're going to add those two numbers. Comes up to negative 3. Does it match our middle term? No. So we're going to try another cross. Okay, so let's try another cross. Let's draw the cross again and do the two terms on the left again, 2 and 1. And this time, instead of using negative 5 and 1, let's use negative 1 and 5. So let's use the bottom one. We'll put negative 1 and 5, and let's do the cross method. So 2 times 5, which is equal to 10, and 1 and negative 1, that's a multiplication sign, which equals negative 1. So now we're going to add 10 plus negative 1 is 9, because you're basically doing 10 minus 1. So that's 9, and it's positive 9. So does this term match this term? Yes. So that means that our cross is right, and now we're going to write down this whole entire equation as a factor, as two different factors. So let's take the top half of our cross and the bottom half. So the top half, you'll put the 2 in front of the x, and like that, you're going to put the second term right after it. And then right next to it, you're going to do the bottom half. So as there's a 1 on the left-hand side, so 1x, and there's positive 5, so plus 5. And this can basically just be written as 2x minus 1 times x plus 5, and equal to 0 because we're solving. And that's how you factor it. And now to solve, we're going to set each individual set equal to 0. Okay, so let's set this equal to 0 and this equal to 0. So 2x minus 1 is equal to 0, 2x is equal to 1, so x is equal to a half. Now for this side, we're going to do x plus 5 is equal to 0, so x is equal to negative 5. So we have two different solutions, x equals negative 5 and x equals a half. So we're just going to write our answer as x equals a half, comma, negative 5. So that's our final answer. So as you can see, like last time, we went from the simple, like the question, we wrote down the different factors, we did the cross method, and then we multiplied and we found our match. And then we wrote down our cross as two different factors, so 2x minus 1 times x plus 5. We set each individual factor equal to 0, and we solved, and we got the answers as a half and -5, so x equals 1 over 2, comma, -5. So you have two different solutions for this equation. Last time we only had one, but make sure you note that quadratic equations can have a maximum of 2. So they can have 0, 1, or 2, but they cannot have 3 solutions. So always make sure that you're only have 2 solutions.